23 minutes past midnight, you're sitting in a parking lot, engine running, and the low fuel light has been on for 40 miles. You're tired. You want to know exactly how many miles you have left before the engine quits. Not a guess. Not the dashboard estimate that swings 20 miles in either direction. The actual number, calculated by the same computer that runs your fuel injection. Your car knows. It's been calculating it the whole time. You just don't know how to ask. There are 17 of these. 17 functions buried in cars built after 2010 that the manual either skips, hides on page 487, or describes in language so dry you'd rather replace the timing belt yourself than read it. I've been pulling these apart for years, watching drivers pay mechanics to do things their car was built to do for free, watching people get stranded next to a feature that would have saved them. By the end of this, you're going to know your own car better than the salesman who sold it to you. And there's one near the end, number 2 on this list, that has saved more transmissions from total replacement than any single piece of advice I can give you. I'll get there. Stay with me. Let's start at 17. Number 17 is the headlight aim adjustment. Every car built in the last 20 years has it. Most owners never touch it, and most mechanics charge between $60 and $120 to do something that takes about 4 minutes with a Phillips screwdriver. Pop your hood. Look at the back of the headlight housing. You'll see a small plastic gear or a slot, usually marked with a tiny arrow or a sun icon, that adjusts vertical aim. Some cars have a horizontal one too. If your headlights have been blinding oncoming drivers, or if they're aimed at the pavement 6 feet in front of your bumper because you hit a pothole hard last winter, this is your fix. Park 25 feet from a garage door at night. Mark where the brightest spot of each beam hits. The center of that beam should be 2 inches below the height of the headlight bulb itself. Adjust the gear until it is. That's it. That's the entire procedure dealerships charge $100 for. Number 16. Your trip computer has a hidden screen. Not the average MPG one everybody knows. A second one deeper in the menu that almost nobody finds. On most Toyotas, Hondas, Fords, and GMs from 2012 onward, if you hold the trip reset button for about 10 seconds, sometimes with the ignition in accessory mode, the display drops into engineering view. Voltage, coolant temperature in actual numbers, not a gauge, intake air temp, fuel trim percentages, the same data a mechanic plugs in $200 of equipment to read. Your car is showing it to you. Free. If you know the button combination, look up the procedure for your specific make. Each one's a little different, but it's there. Number 15. The valet mode. About 60% of cars built after 2014 have one, and almost nobody activates it. Valet mode locks the glove box electronically, caps the top speed somewhere between 35 and 50 miles per hour, disables the trunk release from the cabin, and on some models cuts the audio system entirely. You set it through the infotainment with a 4-digit code. The next person who drives your car can't take it on the highway, can't open your glove box where your registration sits, can't pop the trunk. This isn't just for actual valets. It's for the kid borrowing the car for prom, the mechanic taking it on a test drive, the garage that needs to move it across the lot. Activate it before you hand over the keys. It takes 30 seconds. Number 14. The infotainment service menu. Every modern head unit has one, and it's where the actual settings live. Picture calibration, speaker balance to 1/10 of a decibel, reset codes, diagnostic logs that tell you why your Bluetooth keeps dropping. The entry sequence varies, but on a lot of GM and Ford systems it's holding the menu button and the volume knob simultaneously for about 10 seconds. On some Hyundais and Kias, it's pressing the lower right corner of the screen 6 times in a row. Look up the sequence for your unit. What you'll find inside is the version of the system the engineers actually use, not the dumbed-down customer-facing layer. Number 13. Programming your own key. A new key from the dealer runs anywhere from $250 to over $400. The blank costs them $8. Most of that price is the programming, which on a lot of cars from 2008 to about 2018 you can do yourself. Insert the working key, turn to the on position, leave it for 10 seconds, turn off, swap to the new key, turn on for 10 seconds, listen for the lock cycle. Different makes have slightly different sequences, but the principle is the same. Your car can pair a new key without a scan tool, as long as you already have one working key. This stopped working on most cars after 2018 because manufacturers caught on. But if you're driving a 2015 Camry or a 2016 F-150, your owner's manual literally describes the procedure in a section most people skip. Read it. Order a blank online for $30. Cut it at any locksmith for $15. You just saved $300. Number 12 is the auto-up window calibration. Your driver's side window stops responding to the express up function. You hold the switch, it goes up, you let go, it stops. Most people assume the motor is dying and brace for a $400 regulator replacement. 90% of the time, the window just lost its calibration. Pull the switch all the way up and hold it for 5 seconds after the window stops. Then push it all the way down and hold for 5 seconds. Cycle it once more. The computer relearns the travel limits. ExpressUp comes back. I've watched people pay shops to do this exact procedure and call it module reprogramming. It's not. It's holding a button. Number 11. The remote start through the key fob on cars that didn't come with remote start advertised. A lot of GM, Ford, and Chrysler products from 2011 onward have remote start hardware installed even when the feature wasn't sold. Press the lock button, then press the lock button again and hold it for 3 seconds. On some models, 3 quick lock presses, with the third one held. The engine fires. Climate control activates. You walk out to a warm car in February. Check yours. The hardware's been sitting there the whole time. Number 10. Hill descent control. Most SUVs and a lot of crossovers have a button you've probably never pressed. Steep downhill, gravel road, snowy driveway. Instead of riding the brake until it overheats and warps the rotors, you press that button, and the car uses its anti-lock and traction systems to hold you at a creeping pace, around 3 to 5 miles per hour, with no input from you. Take your feet off the pedals entirely. The car handles it. I've seen people destroy a set of brake rotors on a single mountain road because they didn't know this existed and rode the brakes for 9 miles straight. The button was right there on the console. Number 9. The Dual Zone Climate Sync. If you have separate driver and passenger temperature controls, there's a sync button. Press it. Both sides match the driver's setting. Press it again, they unlink. Sounds simple. Here's why it matters. The blend doors that mix hot and cold air burn out faster when one side is constantly demanding 70 and the other 90. Running them in sync most of the time extends the life of those actuators by years. Replacing a blend door actuator on most cars means pulling the entire dashboard. That's a $1,500 job. Press the sync button. Number 8. The headlight delay timer. You park, get out, lock the car. Hold your remote's lock button for 3 seconds, or on some cars, press it twice. The headlights stay on for 60 to 90 seconds. Lighting your walk to the front door. Goes off automatically. Doesn't drain the battery because there's a built-in shutoff. People buy aftermarket motion lights for their driveway. Their car already does it. Number 7 is the diagnostic mode for the instrument cluster itself. Your speedometer, your tachometer, your fuel gauge. All of it can be tested by the cluster on demand. On a lot of GM cars, you hold the trip reset button while turning the key to on. The needles sweep through their full range. Every warning light fires in sequence. Every segment of the digital display lights up. You're watching the cluster do its self-test. If a needle doesn't sweep, that gauge has a problem. If a warning light doesn't fire, that bulb is dead and you would never have known until you actually needed it. Mechanics charge for this test. You can do it in your driveway in 12 seconds. Number 6. The transmission learning reset. Modern automatics adapt to your driving style. They learn when you brake, how hard you accelerate, how you take off from a stop. After a few thousand miles with one driver, the transmission has a personality. Problem is, when shifts start feeling sloppy or the transmission seems to hunt for gears, the first thing dealers do is sell you a flush or a valve body replacement. Often, all the transmission needs is a relearn. Procedure varies, but on a lot of cars it's keying on without starting, pressing the gas pedal to the floor for 30 seconds, then off, then on again. Drive it for about 100 miles of varied conditions. The transmission relearns. I've watched what felt like an imminent rebuild fix itself with a 45-second procedure. Number 5. The emergency push-button shutoff. If your car has push-button start and the engine goes runaway, or the throttle sticks, or anything happens at speed where you need to kill the engine right now, a single press of the button does nothing. The car ignores it because you're moving. You have to either hold the button for 3 full seconds or press it 3 times rapidly. That kills the ignition. Most owners of push-button cars have no idea. They think pressing it once turns the car off the way a key would. It doesn't. At 70 miles per hour with a stuck accelerator, that gap in knowledge has killed people. 3 seconds or 3 presses. Memorize it now. Number 4. The fuel cutoff inertia switch. After any significant impact, most cars cut fuel to the engine to prevent fire. After a minor bump that triggered the sensor when it shouldn't have, your car won't start and you have no idea why. There's a reset button. On Fords, it's usually in the trunk or under the passenger kick panel. On other makes it varies. It's a small red or yellow button. Press it, engine starts. People have had their cars towed and paid $200 in diagnosis for a button press they could have done themselves if they'd known the switch existed. Number 3. The hidden brake bleed mode for cars with electronic parking brakes. When you replace your rear pads on a car with an electric parking brake, you can't just push the caliper piston back like the old days. The motor has to retract first. Most people assume this requires a dealer scan tool. It doesn't on most cars. There's a service mode you enter from the dashboard. Hold the parking brake switch up while pressing brake pedal, key on engine off, until you hear the actuators retract. The piston pushes back like a normal caliper. You replace the pads. You exit service mode the same way. People pay shops $300 for rear brake jobs that cost $40 in parts because they think the parking brake makes it impossible at home. It doesn't. Number 2. This is the one I told you about. The fuel range estimator with actual fuel remaining. Not the miles to empty guess on your dashboard. The real number. Most modern cars track fuel remaining in tenths of a gallon. The dashboard hides it behind a smoothed estimate that lags behind reality by 10 to 20 miles either direction, because the manufacturer doesn't want you running out of gas and blaming them. But the data is there. On most Toyotas and Hondas, you access it by holding the display button while cycling through the trip computer. On a lot of Fords, you can pull it through the Science menu under Engineering Data. On GM products, it shows up in the same diagnostic mode I mentioned in number 17. What you'll see is fuel in tenths of a gallon and instantaneous fuel economy, calculated together. You can do the math yourself and know within a mile how far you can actually go. The reason this saves transmissions, running out of fuel doesn't just strand you. On modern direct injection engines, running the tank drive pulls debris from the bottom of the tank into the high-pressure fuel pump. And on a lot of cars from the last decade, that pump costs $900 to $1,400 to replace. A driver who knows the actual range, not the dashboard estimate, never lets the tank go that low. Number 2 on this list isn't a feature. It's a number that prevents a phone call to a tow truck and a 4-figure invoice. Number 1. The keyless entry battery bypass. Your key fob battery dies. The car won't unlock with the button. You're standing in the rain. Here's what almost nobody knows. Even with a dead battery, your fob still has a passive RFID chip inside, and your car has a hidden reader. On most makes, holding the dead fob directly against a specific spot on the steering column or against the start button itself activates the reader. The car detects the chip. Doors unlock. Engine starts. The location of the reader varies. On a lot of European cars, it's the cup holder. On Toyotas, it's the start button. On some GMs, it's a marked spot on the column. Look it up for your car. Memorize it before you need it. People have called locksmiths at 2 in the morning, paid $200, when their car has a backup system built into the dash that took 10 seconds to learn. 17 things. Some of them save you $40. Some save you $1,000. One of them might save your life when the throttle sticks at highway speed, and you have 3 seconds to remember whether it's 3 presses or hold for 3. The car was built to be smarter than the manual lets on. Engineers know what they put in there. They just don't get to write the marketing copy. Now you know.